Syrian rebels seized a military airport and an air defense base about 10 miles east of Damascus on Sunday morning and drove off with a tank and other weapons, according to opposition activists and video posted online, demonstrating their ability to advance in areas around the capital despite facing withering aerial attacks. It was a day of intense military activity in the eastern suburbs. By day's end, rebels claimed to have seized 3 crucial installations and 11 mobile anti-aircraft guns, and blamed the government for the bombing of a playground that killed 8 children whose bloodied bodies were shown in an online video. An activist said the playground was near the seized airport and residents believe government planes struck the area in retaliation for the rebel attack. Rebels have seized several bases in the last week, including Base 46, a major facility near Aleppo. The rebel claims and violence around Damascus on Sunday showed a level of chaos that has come to be expected even near the heart of President Bashar al-Assad's government as the conflict, which has taken more than 30,000 lives, grinds on in apparent stalemate. Striking at government air power is militarily and psychologically important for the rebels, for whom the greatest threat is overwhelming firepower from government helicopters and warplanes. Yet it has been difficult for the opposition fighters to hold seized bases because they become easy targets for airstrikes. Rebels have so far been unable, because of international reluctance and opposition disunity, to obtain significant amounts of anti-aircraft weaponry that could help them turn the tide in the conflict, which began as a protest movement and gradually morphed into a civil war after soldiers fired on demonstrators. As has been true since the beginning of the conflict last year, videos were used to tell Sunday's violent narrative, or at least to back up claims of what happened. Video from the playground, which activists said was taken in the village of Dar al-Asafar, showed at least half a dozen children who were dead or wounded from what activists said was a cluster bomb. The asphalt was pockmarked and littered with bomb casings. On the ground lay 2 children, a young girl, identified as Anad Mohammed, in a purple sweatsuit, and what appeared to be a toddler in a red sweater, their eyes open and staring. Around them people were carrying the limp bodies of other children whose bare feet were smeared with blood, as a woman knelt beside Anad and screamed at the sky. In a later video, Anad lay dead in a hospital. "What's her fault? This child?" the man's voice shouted. "What's her fault, Bashar? This little girl?" An activist with the opposition Damascus media office who gave her name as Lena said residents believe this massacre was in retaliation for the airport attack. Referring to the Free Syrian Army, the loose-knit rebel umbrella group, she said, "Whenever the FSA does something big, we expect a massacre." She also said an activist journalist was wounded in shelling on Sunday in the area. "We are like 50 now, in the end we will be 10, she said. "It's like a movie where people die, but only a few make it until the end." There were also videos of the rebel attack on the airport, which activists identified as Marj al-Sultan in an area called Eastern Ghouta. One showed the fighter firing the rocket-propelled grenade by night and helicopters on the tarmac silhouetted by flames. In later clips, rebels marched toward an apparently undamaged helicopter and moved freely among radar dishes positioned atop sand berms. In another clip, the jubilant parade of honking vans and motorcycles trailed behind a dozen men riding atop an armored vehicle down a city street. By Sunday evening, rebels claimed to have overrun 2 more pro-government facilities nearby in the eastern suburbs, the base of the Rabaa Air Defense Battalion in Dar es-Sulayman, and a training center of a pro-Assad Palestinian group in Homa. In video shot at the base of the Rabaa Battalion, the voice of a man off camera trembled with excitement as he showed the row of armored vehicles, which he said were Russian-made Shilka anti-aircraft weapons. In the dark it was unclear if the weapons were what the rebels claimed or whether they could maneuver or use them. The rebel claims were impossible to verify because of the Syrian government's restrictions on journalists. The training facility seized in Homa belonged to the Popular Front for the Liberation of Palestine, a pro-Assad group whose members have clashed recently with rebels, an activist reached in Homa said by Skype. The activist said that government security troops and Palestinians inside the facility were released after turning over their weapons. The rebels made efforts on Sunday to offset recent video that surfaced of fighters executing prisoners. A video showed the wounded government soldier said to have been captured at the Marj al-Sultan airport being treated by a medical team traveling with the rebel attackers. But voices can also be heard interrogating the man, asking him about tactical information as well as his name, background and the situation in his hometown. Off camera, someone says, "Watch, people. Watch us as dogs. How we're treating them with tenderness.